everyone, and welcome to the Coon Rapids Ice Center for CTN's live coverage of girls high school hockey. It's a conference and section rivalry as the Bluebirds welcome the Rogers Royals. Joe Yund along with Howie Shapiro and Jerry Grant up top. And guys, two teams very familiar with one another early in the season, trying to make sure they make a statement early.
Yeah, they are. And CPCR is coming off a tough loss, 8-2 to a very good Hill Murray team. Looks like they played a good first period. They're tied. And also, Maple Grove took care of Rogers last time out. So, Howie, they both have something to do tonight.
They do. You know, and you look at the Rogers schedule, we talked about how tough that CPCR schedule. Rogers schedule is just as tough. They dropped their first two. They're 0-2, looking to try and get off the schneid and get their first win of the season. This is a great rivalry between these two. You kind of throw out the records when these two teams play.
Well, and Champlin Park Coon Rapids has won the last 5 meetings between the two teams, including ending the Royals season in the quarterfinal round in each of the last 2 years. But this is a team that's very young for Rogers. They're learning on the job, but they do have a strong leader leading the way from their blue line.
Yeah, you talked about a lot of young players, but Sydney Bailey is their senior defenseman. She's an offensive defender. Coach Gutty said she reminds me a lot of Kylie Scott, is a defender that can take over a game on the offensive end. She is going to the Gophers next year. You know she's a good player. The Bluebirds are going to have to keep her in check all game long.
Well, the Bluebirds saw her score in each of their 3 meetings last season, but the Bluebirds came out on top at the end of the night, and that's what's most important. And what a start, especially for the top line of these Bluebirds. And young June Semling took her a little bit to get going last year, but finished second on the team in scoring, and she is flying out of the gates to start this year.
Oh, she sure is, Joe, and she is such a strong skater. She's a powerful player, and I think that's what helps her get the job done. Right now, she's 12th in the state in scoring with 11 points. She's tied for 8th with goals with 7. So she's somebody to really watch. I noticed her game when we had the North Wright County. She found a way to get into those little voids and get the puck and put it in the net because she has a very hard shot. She's tough to handle.
Yeah, fantastic shot. Gets it off lightning quick, and she's got an absolute snipe. So it'll be fun to see what she's able to achieve. Multiple goals in each of her games so far this season. Can the Fighting Bluebirds bounce back from their first loss of the season? They take the ice against the Royals next on CTN. Back at the creek and just about ready to get it started. CPCR, couple of wins to get the season started, and then they're going to see a lot of ranked teams in the next couple of weeks before getting into the grueling part of their schedule. But their first ranked opponent was Hill Murray on Saturday, their home opener over at the Forum, and they were victimized 8-2.
8-2, but guess who had both goals?
June Semling.
Yeah, and when I talked to Coach Gutty about it, he said they were down 2-1 and they gave up a couple of soft goals. So they went down 4-1 and then kind of fell apart after that. But he thought they played a little bit better, than more indicative of, it wasn't indicative of that score.
Yeah, they were tied after the first period. Shots were 8-8, I saw, but it looks like a couple mistakes. Well, we saw mistakes against North Wright County, and I said that night, if you make them against Hill Murray, you're going to pay, and I think that's what happened.
Well, and they will see a number of ranked opponents in the coming weeks, and you know they'd rather make their mistakes now than in February, and you know still a lot getting figured out as far as job away from the puck. Semling a steal at center ice, gets herself a good look, a glove save by Kinneberg, and back the other way comes Claire Lauer. Swept off her stick by Callie Alphin right at the blue line. McKenzie gathers it at her own blue, gets in, puts it on goal. Rebound taken into the corner by Sydney Bailey. Her pass didn't click. Semling turns around, looks out front for a deflection. McKenzie puts it home, and CPCR on the board less than a minute in.
Yeah, good job, Bailey. Earlier in that shift, she did a nice back check when a 3-on-2 was presented with Rogers. She caught up to the play, got the puck. They got it back down the end, Howie, and they once again got down in the greasy area.
Well, and that's what Coach Gutty talked about. You know, we need to score goals. You'll see it right there in the greasy area as she's able to put it past the goaltender. And, you know, Coach Gutterman said if they play their game, guys, offensively, they should be just fine tonight.
Yeah. Well, I remember last year, Kinneberg was tough on
yes, absolutely.
the Purs, but that one got by her right away.
Yep.
But you can't let Lily McKenzie post up at the top of the crease. Mackenzie Moyer was doing everything she could to try and get control of the stick, but she stayed strong on that bottom hand. And again, it all starts on a breakout pass that didn't click. A good, smart pickup by Semling, and she just feeds McKenzie out front for the finish.
Yeah, Lily's 4th goal of the year.
Yeah, good start.
Yeah, they've been able to light the lamp quite a bit.
Yeah, Lily now has 8 points. Tied with
Shot
Burnett.
from the point by Zahalka finished wide. A CPCR trying to get in strong on the forecheck. Back the other way come the Royals. Good defense at the back end and swept away by Maddie Wastrel.
Good to see Maddie back in the net.
Yeah, Maddie got a period against Hill Murray, but you know, she was cleared to play. But this is, you know, first opportunity to get a full game in this
Bailey
season.
off the turnover at center ice. That is blocked by Nola Milton. Pressure forces it back out to center. At her own blue line is Bischoff. Chased off. Banked it off the boards, but kept in there by Olivia Reed. Back out to center. Sent right back in by Oswego. Here's Caitlin Easton. Had it swept off her stick by Bailey. Easton got it back. Pass out front. Out of the reach of Oswego. She lost the lumber and will head back to the bench for a new stick. Diving on it is Kinneberg, and we'll get a face-off in the Royals' end.
Yeah, Kinneberg had to make sure that she brought that puck in, although there weren't a lot of CPCR players near the net, but you just have to make sure you pull it in and get that face-off, get your team regrouped.
Yeah, I saw Marissa Peterson on that shift, Joe. She's a little new to the lineup.
McKenzie the win. Bernovic can't keep control. Carried to center by Barnacle. She'll send it in deep. First one there is struck in the far corner. She's pitched to the board.
Nice job there on the pinch by Rogers.
Played out to center. Semling hammers it in deep. Giving chase behind is Bernovic. A lot of stick work, but no call as she spun Bischoff off the puck. A chance for Bernovic in close. Turned away by Kinneberg. Bernovic again behind for McKenzie out front, a one-timer, but Kinneberg is there for the save.
That was a pretty setup, Jerry.
Nice triangle offense again, Howie.
Zahalka gets it down deep. McKenzie recovers out to the point. Alphin steps around the pressure, gets inside. Her shot hit the traffic out front, now kicked to the corner where Bailey will get to it and clear cross ice. And some Cardinals scramble back. Good stick by Lily McKenzie. Then lost an edge on the turn in her own zone. Semling alone at the other end. Looking out front. Zahalka filling that lane. Not able to get it to her. Now sends it in behind. Paginen in the far corner. Can't keep him contained. This one is played all the way down, but tipped by the Bluebirds, so no icing. Nola Milton chased behind her own net. Turns it over. A quick shot for Lauren Swanson. Turned away by Wastrel. Another puck bouncing into the slot. Swanson was sniffing around again, but this time CPCR able to gain control. Bowden back the other way, going around the corner. And now behind the net. On her backhand, will play it off the boards out to Milton. Across. Sent in deep, and now back out to the point for Oswego. Can't get it through the shin pads right in front of her of Olivia Johansson. But the Royals not able to get it out. Now finally play it off the boards and into the Cardinal end. Quick turn by Coon Rapids. Anna Pitson down the left wing. Poked off her stick into the corner by Moyer. Those two tie up. Pitson able to win the puck battle. Now tied up again. And the puck played back to the near corner. Avery Linseth plays it up and out. This one deflected again, so no icing. Vostrel will leave it there for Lila Olson. She couldn't sweep it around behind. The pass out front hit a skate. Comes back to Bailey at the point. Bailey fires wide to the far corner. Recovered by Bischoff. She's able to hold at the line. Steps in. That's blocked by Easton. Caitlin Easton flips it up and out. And that will not have enough. Bailey back at her own end. Circles. Long pass ahead. Finds Punchakar at the blue line, but she's stopped up. Back the other way come the Fighting Bluebirds. And turned over at the blue line again. This is Hadley Struck down the board. She's squeezed off it there by Alphen. Recovered behind by Zahalka. A one-touch pass by Bernovic, and it got away from Easton. Still trapped along the far boards just in front of the CPCR bench. Bernovic comes in, sweeps it back to the corner. She's pressured along the end boards. Coughed up the biscuit. Struck has it for the Royals. She's got a lot of red jerseys around her. Puck still loose in some skates. Alphen fishing for it. Gets past Reed out to the point. Bailey circles in the middle. A shot through traffic misses wide to the far side. Barnacle keeps it along the boards. Played to the line but kept in. Now fired out by the Bluebirds. Bailey waits for her teammates to clear the zone. Stops up along the boards. Top of the circle, a shot into the midsection of Wastrel, and she let that one slip away. A quick whistle benefiting the home team.
Oh, it's a good shift for Rogers. They put pressure on the Bluebirds in their own end. They took and got the puck, got the turnovers they needed, got some pressure, got some shots. So, again, we saw it the last game a little bit, Howie, is the Bluebirds have a little bit of a problem breaking out.
Well, you know, and the two keys for the Bluebirds, got to play better in their own D zone, and one for the Royals, we have to get more shots on net. Coach Kirk is not happy with that aspect of their game so far this season.
Milton ahead for Bernovic. Her pass is broken up. Sent back in deep by Moyer. She'll take his shot on goal. Wastrel turns it away. McKenzie can't pick it off the boards. Slides in on Wastrel. She'll cover up. We'll try another face-off. Exactly 10 minutes remain in the opening period. CPCR on the board. A goal by Lily McKenzie 49 seconds into the contest. On the assist from June Semling. Trying to get Coach Todd Gutterman his 50th win as the head coach of the Bluebirds.
For Todd. Say, we're going to watch this breakout for a while, Howie, because if you can't break the puck out, it leads to nothing but trouble.
Right. And that's all, you know, getting it out of your D zone. And
catching the pass, looking up, skating with it, making sure you get over the blue line.
Pitson tied up along the boards. Get some support there from Milton. Milton steps around a poke check. She'll lead the rush.
Good pass.
Out across. It's in the skates of Bowden. She kicks it to the corner. Tries to recover there. Pressured. Kate turns away from it. Pitson there to support. Bowden now with it. Pitson and Bowden both trying to come out of the corner. Bowden back in behind. There to help is Paginin. She'll send it back in deep. No one down there in a red jersey. Spinning away from pressure is Fitzke. Her pass tipped up in the air. Finally settles back to the ice, and skating out with it is Johansson. Johansson gets past the pressure at the blue line. Gets it to Swanson into the zone. Shot stopped up by Wastrel. Big rebound cleared by Bowden. It slides back in, and it's covered up by Wastrel. Exactly 9 minutes remaining.
The shots were 5-2 just a little bit ago. How what are they now?
5-4.
I think Coach Attenkirk's a little happy with that.
Yeah, she has to be happy with that. Again, pressure, you know, down by a goal, but they would love to be able to tie this up at one. You know, they don't want to fall behind by 2 goals this situation, but the Bluebirds have to do a better job of getting it out of their own end.
June Semling will skate it out, tipped away by Bailey at the red line, recovered by McKenzie. McKenzie can't get it by Bailey on the near boards. Tied up there, comes free for Barnacle. Barnacle able to get it back out to neutral. Now gets it back, swept off her stick, and the Royals are offside as there was a little bit of chaos at the blue line.
What a classic poke check by Bailey. It's a lost art, but she held her wrist back, and as soon as that player got right in there, she stuck that stick out with the palm down, and the puck's off the stick. Very nice.
Coach Dr. Kirk had a little chat with her before the game, and again, she's looking for that first win of the season and hope it comes tonight against a rival, section rival for sure.
Yeah, start against number 5, Edina, and follow it up with number 10, Maple Grove. It's going to test anybody's fortitude, especially when you have 7 freshmen getting regular time in your varsity lineup.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
First line of the Bluebirds, again, able to generate some pressure, get some good time in the zone. That shot deflected as McKenzie tried to get it away at the top of the slot. This one handoff for June Semling. Shot turned away with the stick of Kinneberg. Bernovic pressured and coughs it up to Bailey along the boards. Played all the way down. Zahalka will get there before it gets to the goal line. Pressure provided by Hadley Struck. She plays it behind. That pass didn't click. Bernovic has to kind of circle back to recover. Zahalka head to McKenzie, got it out of the blue line, but sent right back in by Rogers. Milton off the boards. Semling couldn't catch it. Fitzke in her own end, had it taken away. McKenzie in alone, stopped up by Kinneberg, and then hammered in the corner. No call.
No call.
That's a big stop.
Yeah. She got in too deep to make her last move.
She did, but nonetheless.
Yeah, but nice steal.
Yep.
Well, and then introduced to the boards in the corner, and if missing on a breakaway isn't enough to fire up one of the best scorers on the other team, get physical with her and see how much that affects your game.
Yep, nowhere to go.
I would not recommend it.
I would not recommend it either.
Because Lily, we've seen her, an incredible player.
Yes,
but
she is.
Yeah, you get under her skin, I think you're going to find another level to her game.
Yeah.
Royals 3-2 at the blue line, broken up by Oswego. Another good stick check from Oswego. Bluebirds having trouble controlling. Oswego gets it back. Good pass into the skates a little bit of Reed, but she's able to recover, get it to the Royals blue line, but she's stopped up there by Swanson.
Yeah, I'd like to see lines 2 and 3. Just get the red line a couple times, get the puck deep. Oh, they're letting him play.
Bodies sliding into the end boards. A chance for Bailey out front, stopped up by Wastrel. Blade to the line, but held there by Bischoff.
Yeah, that's one player you do not want to let alone in front of the net is Sydney Bailey.
Got lucky there.
4-player scrum in the near corner in front of the Zamboni doors.
Yeah, and in front of all the youth
Finally
fans.
coming free
it's
is
youth night.
Youth night, they're all down there.
Oswego. Played toward the front. Bowden stops it up. Sorry, that was Olsen. Got it out to center.
Another turnover.
Lauer into the zone along the near boards. Attacking 1v4. Didn't have much she could do with it, but able to hold it along the boards and wait for the line change to finish. And it ends up leading to a penalty, in our first power play.
Holding
Of the game will go to the Rogers Royals.
Well, that's what happens when they pin you in your end on the forecheck. Oh, you start running around.
Yep.
And then you get behind a step, and your only alternative is to grab somebody.
You got Elfin in the box, and and again, this is an opportunity for the Royals to see on their power play as they're able to see if they can tie this one up.
And one of their better penalty killers is in the box, Joe.
Yep.
Well, it helps when your biggest scorers are also some of your best PK specialists. Willie McKenzie out there, but Royals win the draw. Bailey, a shot from a ways out, turned away by Wastrel. Royals able to recover near corner. Good pressure from Milton, but the Royals able to withstand it. Play it back out to Bailey at the point. The cross shot through traffic for O'Brien, stopped up by Wastrel. And again, a good recovery for the Royals power play. Good stick there by Milton to break up that centering pass and a fumble. And here's McKenzie on a longer breakaway shot. She scores! Her second of the game comes shorthanded. A separator goal with 4:43 to play in the first period.
I'm glad to see Lily do that, Howie, because the first time she tried to deke and the goalie was back in the net. So you've got a lot to shoot at.
Oh, you
so
do.
She saw that corner and she took that shot that was given to her, and 2 goals for the Bluebirds.
And how disheartening is that for the Royals? Obviously, you know, they've got a little momentum. They're keeping it in the zone.
Your best player.
Lily, and your best player coming one-on-one and able to get it, to light the lamp on that one.
And their best player was the turnover.
Yep. Yeah, that's a huge goal for the Bluebirds, shorthanded.
It is, because Rogers.
And then Rogers a little spooked off the face-off. They originally indicated that was going to be icing and then did not blow it dead, but still a little under a minute to go on the power play. Swanson from behind her own net trying to go end-to-end. Into the zone, throws it on, gets a rebound chance, plays it to the net, and she scored. That is individual effort end-to-end for Lauren Swanson and cuts the lead right back to 1.
Well, when you go 1-on-4, though, as the coaching staff will be telling the defenders, you just can't let her walk all the way down the ice like that. Nice first save, but then there's the rebound.
Oh, it just went off the post and then back off Maddie.
Yep. But
that's a tough one to give up.
And then she even got 2 shots off.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Swanson, nice job by her.
Now, how big is that shorthanded goal?
Well, Rogers is on the board.
Yep.
Scoring for the Royals at the power play, number 2, Lauren Swanson.
Yeah, they're out shooting the Bluebirds 9-8 right now, so good period for them.
Of the first period, Swanson, the Royals, unassisted, and Royals on the power play.
Oswego play it back behind. Pass disrupted by Struck. Plays it back in deep. Barnacle behind the net. Pressured by Oswego. Pass to the point. Right between the 2 defenders. All the way back down to Kinneberg. She'll leave it there for Bischoff. Behind the net. Plays it up the near side. Poked at by Paginen, but played along by Bailey to the line. Oswego can't keep it in. Back the other way. And a good chance in tight for Struck, but just not able to get the shot in tight. Got around on her backhand, just could not get the forehand. Free puck just inside the Bluebird zone, poked along by Moyer. She's going to tie up in the corner there with Alphin, who plays it around behind. Zahalka now. Pressured. Swanson and she both go to the ice.
Rogers is just outworking the Bluebirds right now. They're getting to most of the loose pucks, Howie.
Yep. Well, they're hungry for their first win of the season, quite obviously, especially if it can come against a team like the Bluebirds.
No, they keep playing like this. They have a chance.
Now, still plenty of time, obviously.
Another turnover.
Yep.
They're just hounding them.
Yep.
Alphin on the backhand, able to shovel it ahead for Reed. Reed pokes it along, but again, recovery goes to the Bluebirds. It's a steal for Alphin at center ice, trying to weave her way through a little bit of traffic into the zone, swept off her stick, and now just played up and out by Moyer, and that'll go down for an icing, but it'll allow Rogers to get a fresh set of 5 on the ice.
Well, you know, when you have talent, that can win games, but when you don't have talent, you all work the other team.
Yep.
That does the job as well, as you see. Hanging in, almost got the corner. That was a real good net drive there.
Well, nice job by Maddie to poke the puck away, too, and get it towards the corner.
Little stick work back and forth between Bischoff and Semling. Bluebirds win the draw. The shot deflected, ends up wide. Chopped along, poked out to the point. Oswego through traffic, deflected wide off the stick of Bernovic. Semling with a steal along the end boards. Out to the point for Milton. Milton through traffic, knocked down by Bischoff. Had it taken away by Bernovic. Can't get it deep. Bailey there to disrupt. Bailey up the near boards, taken away by Bernovic. Pinching is Milton. Bernovic hammers it back in deep. Out front, McKenzie, and it got all the way through without a Bluebird able to get the stick on it. Sent right back in by Nola Milton.
The one thing Rogers does is they collapse to the front of that net when the puck is in their end.
Semling's attempt to get it to the points off target a little bit, ends up all the way back down. Rogers getting a fresh 5 out, and Semling played it to the bench, as not realizing her teammate was getting a change. Wisely, the Bluebirds do not touch the puck, don't get caught for too many players. That one out front, and Swanson fanned on the
thank goodness
one-timer. A steal out front, turnaround shot taken away by Johansson. Long shot, hit traffic. Good job by Alphen clearing the front. Wraparound attempt on the backhand. Went off the side of the cage for Bridget O'Brien. And again, the Bluebirds can't get it past the blue line.
Yeah, they just keep dumping it to the wrong spots. You got to get your head up and look for the opening.
That one will skip up and out. Icing waved off as Fitzke maybe got a piece of it. Didn't have enough to get all the way down anyhow. Down to the final 15 seconds in this opening period. A pair of goals by Lily McKenzie. And a power play tally for the Royals has us in a 2-1 contest. Offside for the Bluebirds and a face-off just outside the Royal Blue.
Yeah, well, I say Rogers, after that first goal went in, they woke up. They're playing real hard. They're playing very good system hockey. They're in the right positions.
Effort level is definitely there, and they have stepped up their game a bit in response to the fast start to the home squad. And they're well aware that this is a conference and section rival, and a team that they've been able to play a lot of close games with in the recent past.
Yeah.
And they want to get over the top. They know it's been a while since their team came out on top, and they want to knock off the Bluebirds. But Bluebirds have something else to say about that, and their leader, Coach Todd Gutterman, is down with Howie Shapiro. Howie?
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I'm here with Coach. Coach, a 2-1 lead in the first period. One of the things you and I talked about is D-zone presence, and they put a lot of pressure on that D-zone. What do you talk to your girls in the break about kind of being able to do a better job of getting the puck out of that D end?
To be honest with you, I thought that was our worst period of hockey this year, so I'll take being up 2-1. We were sloppy all over the place. We were sloppy in all three zones. We weren't catching passes. We weren't making clean plays. So we got a lot to clean up the next two periods.
You had to be pretty happy to get that shorthanded goal. Unfortunately, you give away the power play goal. But, talk about that effort of Lily to get that second goal and put you up 2-0.
She created two breakaways for herself with a great stick. The first one, she just put a good move. Goalie made a good save. She buried the second one. That's Lil, all right? Lil creates opportunities.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second. We're going to be right back with first period highlights right after this.
There was once a time when local sports coverage wasn't what it is now. A dark age filled with handicaps and Polaroids and angry crowds. Then two noble souls stood and proclaimed aloud that they'd give the people high-quality sports no matter how. So sports nights they became. Delivering stats and highlights was their vow. And sports nights they remain. Watch them weekly on CTN Now.
Back at the Coon Rapids Ice Center after the first period of play. Champlin Park Coon Rapids a 2-1 lead over the Rogers Royals. And kind of what we expected to start, a fast start for the home team, but a lot of grit and really a lot of energy for the visitors late in the period. Kind of took a little momentum to the locker room.
Yeah, well, what they did well is they played as a unit. They were always in the right positions. They were getting after every loose puck. They're causing a lot of problems for the Bluebirds, even breaking out the puck.
Yeah, the Bluebirds were fortunate that they got that second shorthanded goal. And now we talked to Coach Gutt. He said maybe the worst period of hockey they've played. So he goes back to the locker room. He talks about things and how we can make some adjustments going out to number 2.
Yeah, we talked about it as this game was a chance for the Bluebirds to try and bounce back from their first loss of the season. How do they bounce back from what their coach describes as their worst period of the season so far? They still got 2 goals from their captain and leader, senior Lily McKenzie. That one on the deflection. Then gets the takeaway shorthanded and just not going to mess around with Deacon this time. Fires the wrist shot past Kinneberg. Puts her team up 2-0. But then a great end-to-end rush for Lauren Swanson. Follows up her first shot. Puts the rebound home off of the keeper, off of the post, and into the net. Her first of the season. And just after that, we saw the skates moving that much faster for the Rogers Royals, and they really took it to the Bluebirds. Didn't give them any chance to breathe when they had the puck.
Yeah, and they outshot them 9-8 for the period. So after a slow start, they got on their heels and they started making things happen.
As you mentioned, the Royals did outshoot the Bluebirds by a 9-8 margin. They had the one power play of the period. They did convert, not until after they had given up that that shorthanded goal to Lily McKenzie. But a great response for them. And now the big question is, how do the Bluebirds respond? How do they come out in the second period? Can they put the momentum back in the home bench? We will find out. The puck drops on period number 2 right after this on CTS. Rogers Royals coming in, feeling pretty good about the way they finished the first period, trailing by just a goal. This is a team that came in, outscored 13-2 in their first 2 games, outshot by almost 50 shots on goal in the first game against Edina, and they actually held up their own against Maple Grove, losing 5-2 to the Crimson last Saturday. But on the flip side, you've got Champlin Park, Coon Rapids, got a couple of nice wins, a tight one over Eden Prairie, and then a high-scoring affair against North Wright County. And then their first game against a ranked opponent on Saturday against Hill Murray did not go so well.
Yeah, well, we just talked about
and they've got
the kids on that team.
4 out of 5 that are against top 10 teams. Their next 3 opponents, number 6 Centennial, number 4 Benilde St. Margaret, and number 10 Maple Grove.
You find out where you're at. Like you say, a couple names on the Hill Murray team. Senden, Pole. There's some hockey players in that squad.
Well, Gutty always says we play for February, but we learn who we are early in the season.
Well, that's right. You don't win a championship in November.
Nope.
This one played back out. Alpha will track it down in her own end. Struck provides the pressure. Alphen lost the handle. Struck out to the point. Bischoff got it past McKenzie and in deep. Alphen is there for the Bluebirds. Reverses off the boards. Poked at by Bernovic. In the skates of McKenzie. She caught an edge and went down. Bernovic bumped off it at center by Bischoff, but gets it in deep. Semling can't get there before Bailey plays it around. Zahalka got it back to Semling. Now back to Zahalka. Got through her skates. And here's Claire Lauer. Long shot in, and the save by Wasserl. Good back check by Lily McKenzie. You mentioned it was a 2-on-1, but not for long. By the time they got to the blue line, McKenzie had caught up.
Yeah, she
and
used her
taken
speed.
away the weak side wing.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, that shows you a captain.
Right.
She has two sides to her game. Good players, got a back check, and she's giving an example to everybody else.
He saw Zaholka, the other captain, doing the same from the other side and taking away the passing lane.
The one thing the Royals are doing really well is body position. They're walling people off, getting the pucks.
Yeah, the recovery has been really what has fueled their long offensive zone possessions is so much, and you mentioned it too in the first period, winning races to pucks.
Yeah.
And when your shot goes wide, if your teammate is the first one there, you continue to attack. And this one turned over, nothing on that shot by Swanson. It trickles into the far corner, but again, a recovery by O'Brien, plays it back to the point. The shot by Moyer was deflected, and now here comes Pitson off the loose puck. Anna Pitson to center. Skates wide down the left wing, stops up, keeps possession. Moyer sends her to the ice.
Yeah. Well, they're letting them play today.
Continues.
They have been.
That's all right if they do it for both teams and it doesn't get overly physical.
This one flipped back to the Bluebirds' end, tracked down again by Callie Alphin. She'll take a look ahead. That pass just out of the reach of Olivia Reed. She's able to get to it first behind the net. Reed down low for Caitlin Easton. She overskated a little bit. Ice might still be a little sticky behind the net. Funny bounce off the Zamboni door. Alphin jumps on the loose puck. Controls in the far corner. To the faceoff dot. His shot misses wide. Recovery sent to the line, and who's there? Callie Alphin. Her shot blocked in a race for the puck back into the Bluebirds' end. Alphin, good body control, gets position, sends it back to the other end.
Yeah, good for her. She recovered.
This one played off the glass all the way down. That'll be icing. A little less than 3 minutes into the second period.
Yeah, the only shot so far for the Royals.
It's a good look for
On
Callie
goal.
Alphin.
On goal, anyhow.
Fired it wide.
Yeah, that would have been a goal. Might have been a goal.
Yeah, you know, the Royals are doing a good job when the Bluebirds have the puck in the Royals' the end of really not letting them set up offensively, really just pestering them, getting to the puck and not letting them get into their offense into any flow.
Yep. There's no way to cycle if you're on the wall with a body on you.
McKenzie back to the point. Milton, quick shot, misses wide to the near corner. Zaholka sending it toward the net, didn't get through, poked free. McKenzie trying to settle it, fires wide. Got out off the end of her stick and couldn't get it on the keeper. Bernovic controls in the corner, gets around Bailey, takes it behind. Skates out, up top. Milton looking for the back door. McKenzie was tied up, able to recover, back out to the point. Zaholka, shot deflected, didn't get through the traffic, now sent back out toward the point. Zaholka can't hold, McKenzie can. That one kicked away by Bischoff. Bailey pinched off of it by Semling. Semling has the puck come right back to her, then she's bumped off it by Bailey. McKenzie able to steal it back for the Bluebirds. Looking to the point, that was broken up and sent out to neutral ice. Milton ahead for Bernovic, 3-on-2 at the line. 4-on-2 if they hurry, and they do. Played well defensively by Bischoff, holding Bernovic in the corner, not allowing her on the backhand to try and get a good pass to the teammates she had out front.
Yep, she forced her to the corner. You got to make that drop pass. Get the trailer.
Shot through traffic by Swegan, taken in the midsection by Claire Kinneberg. And she holds for a face-off in the Royals' end.
Classic 3-on-2, Howie. If the D goes down with both forwards, who's open?
Yeah.
It's the trailer.
Well,
you
as
got to use that player.
Coach Achterberg said, you know, we start from the goal out, and we want to make sure our goaltender plays well, but we really want to make sure our defense plays well in front of her.
And they are.
And they have been.
Paginen in the corner. Caught a toe. Bowden there to recover. Paginen now back the other way. behind the net. Out to the point, Zaholka through traffic, pad save by Kinneberg. Into the far corner, picked up there by Lila Olson. Olson pinched down deep. Coming away with it is O'Brien. Pass ahead, gets Johansson to center. Into the zone. Good back check by Anna Pitson to break it up. A couple of bodies hit the ice behind the net again.
Someone
and
hurt.
a Redbird slow to get up. That's Kylie Aswegan.
Yeah, she took a hit. She seems to be okay. She's
Yep. Still on her hip.
Yep.
Even though you have the breezer pants, that hurts. Ice is hard.
Ice is definitely when you fall on it, doesn't there's no give there.
You see the two of them. That was a little bit of a slew foot by Olivia Johansson.
A slew foot?
The slew foot.
I don't even know what that is.
It's when you kick someone's feet out from behind.
Their feet out. That's dangerous.
Well, it's not good.
No, that's not good.
That shot blocked into the corner. Bailey, another attempt. This one kicked away by Wastrel. Bischoff keeps it in on the near side. Easton behind her own net. Trying to send it around Punchakar. Tie up in the corner. Coming free with it is Caitlin Easton. Trying to stay away from Artessa Fisher. Those two tie up. Puck comes free for Hendrickson in the slot. Loose puck collected by Alphen and sent the distance. That'll be icing. And a face-off back in the Champlin Park Coon Rapids end with 11:12 showing on the clock in period number 2.
Well, Rogers on the pinch there kept the puck in every time, and they're good rotation. The forwards back as the D went sliding down, and they're again playing good system hockey. Hard to beat the team when they play in unity.
Right.
And they're doing that now.
They have been.
McKenzie off the boards, kept in by Bailey, punched out by Semling. It's tipped back to her. She's on the go, a backhander. Misses high and wide. Milton holding on the near side boards. Bischoff out of the corner, can't get it past McKenzie, and then Bernovic fans on the shot attempt in the slot. Keeps bouncing back to Bluebird sticks. Here's a one-timer for McKenzie, just misses wide. Played off the boards and out by Bischoff. Semling had it knocked off her stick, tipped free again by McKenzie, and finally Bailey gets the red line, dumps it in deep for Rogers. Milton from behind her own net had the pass kicked away by Lauer. Lauer recovers. Stick handles through, gets a shot, turned away by Wastrel. Back to the point. Moyer will send it back in deep. Out of the reach of O'Brien. Poked free by Zaholka. Stepping down is Fitzke. She's slowed there by McKenzie. Milton sends it around. Semling flips it up and out, trying to get around Swanson. And she's going to get taken down. We're going to see our first CPCR penalty of the evening. Delayed call coming. There's the touch.
Well,
good spot holding a 1-goal lead now to go on the power play, guys. And
nice to be on the power play.
Yeah, opportunity to see if they can increase their lead by 2.
Well, you see here, there's the player. Looks like it had a stick in there, and
yeah, and I thought Semling kind of put her stick up in the players up in Swanson's business a little bit. She did. She may have grabbed on once it was there.
Yeah,
but that's what she saw, because Semling was the one that went down. That's what the official saw and said that's a hold. And this is our first power play attempt. A shot by Alphen, blocker saved by Kinneberg, and then it was touched with a high stick, and that'll mean CPCR has to have a face-off outside the zone.
Well, Rogers is playing very physical, and for the most part, they've been not getting penalties, but the referee decided to call one there, and that's been working for them.
Yep.
Their physicality is slowing the Bluebirds down, getting in their head.
Face-off back at the CPCR end. Bowden in the dot. Able to tie up, and McKenzie secures the puck for the home squad. Sydney Bernovic up the near side. Turned away from the pressure. McKenzie back to Bowden. She'll get it into the zone. Back to Zahalka. Or Eswegan, rather. Shot from McKenzie didn't get through the traffic. Kick free, though, by Bowden. Again, a good recovery. We were talking about earlier, the Rogers was doing well. That shot didn't get through the traffic. Turnaround attempt by Bowden just misses wide. Semling recovers behind the net. Bernovic on the far boards. Up top, McKenzie. Down low, a shot. Save and a clear. But a good hold at the line. And just good battle on both sides of the puck. Finally forced out to neutral ice by Claire Lauer. Bernovic into the zone, stops up, waits for her team to set up. McKenzie walking in, goes to her backhand through traffic, stick save Kinneberg, and a clear for the Royals.
No one on the back door for that rebound.
Well, the Bluebirds now with a 13-10 edge in shots on net.
McKenzie is shot, turned away Kinneberg, a rebound chance, and she'll hold on.
She tried to do what Rogers forward did in the first period, get the 2-for-1. It didn't work for her, though.
Nope.
Saw it work for Swanson and looked to put that rebound in short side, but a good recovery from Claire Kinneberg. Holds for the face-off. 24 seconds left on the power play. Second unit out for the Fighting Bluebirds. Milton through traffic. That deflected wide into the corner. Milton crashes down to pressure. Puck scooped up by Caitlin Easton. Easton behind the net. Milton looking. Tried the short angle shot. Hit the side of the net. Zahalka on the far side, out to the point. Alford and Swanson, fresh out of the box, was there to pressure and nearly caught her by surprise, but Alford able to get it deep.
Yeah,
Communication.
She almost took it away from her.
Yeah, you gotta tell her that she's coming out of that box.
Yep.
Alford stops it up in a battle with Johansson into the corner. Alford able to win the puck. Get it ahead to Pitson. That pass out of the reach of Zahalka. Bischoff couldn't control in her skates. Swanson tried to slide through the traffic. Continues to pressure. Alford stops it up. Easton recovers. Gets it in, draws another penalty, and CPCR going right back onto the power play. They had 5 shots on goal, none that was terribly dangerous, but that kind of zone time always pays off.
Yes, we have a checking penalty coming up here.
Well, Coach Octakirk has to hope that her squad can.
See O'Brien here reaching
Fight off
out,
another
putting her
one.
body. Yeah, that's a
yeah.
that's a boarding penalty too. That
solid.
one's, that's quite the hit.
Solid check.
Yep.
My parents sent me to boarding school. Anything like that?
This is a little rougher.
A little different?
Yeah, a little different. Even though there can be rough boarding schools too. I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard as well.
The official call is roughing. And a good early clear for the Rogers PK. CPCR able to get back into the zone and trying to get it set back up.
Well, they got to get traffic in front of that net because right now they're all on the perimeter. There you go. But they intercepted again.
Bailey able to keep the puck from getting through to the net. Bowden from the top of the slot, a tip attempt, puts it in on goal. That is played up and out.
That was going to be a hand pass. And there's an icing. Just a little out of sorts
Yeah.
here so
Well,
far.
and this first unit was out for the first 90 seconds of the first power play,
Yeah.
and barely had a chance to catch their breath before going back out.
Well, you know, that kind of thing can catch up to you a little bit. You got to be in good shape because you're putting in a lot of minutes on those legs.
Yeah.
Other players are not getting as much time.
Yep.
Special teams can disrupt the flow of a game.
Winning faceoffs is something that was very important to Coach Octakirk too.
Oh yeah.
We keep it in our offensive zone.
Yeah. And they're
That
doing,
one touched by someone on the Royals bench.
they're doing a lot of that, Howie. They're
Yep.
winning some draws.
Yep.
Our stats department was not doing draws tonight, unfortunately. It was not on their list.
They were drawing pictures.
Oh, okay.
Good win for Pitson.
There you go.
Played ahead for Zahalka. Zahalka lined up on the wing out front. And it just skipped away from Caitlin Easton. They recover strong along the boards. Pitson shot high and wide. Recover on the far boards by Alphen. Back out to Zahalka. 3 defenders on this power play unit with Milton, Alphen, and Zahalka. Of course, we've seen Taylor in her career play up front as well. She's a 4-year varsity player as a senior captain. Back across the shot, a blocker save on the attempt by Nola Milton.
Kinderberg's looking comfy.
That one just misses wide. She's deep in the blue.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of traffic in front. You mentioned it in the first period. They collapsed defensively into the house. Good effort to weave her way in by Callie Alphen. She's tripped up, will not get another call. A race back the other way. Taylor Zahalka. And you've got to call that one. I know you just put him in the box twice, but it was a pretty blatant high stick from Bridget O'Brien. Did not like the pressure coming back from Taylor Zahalka. The steal by O'Brien, then played behind Wastrel through the blue paint. Bischoff from the point, kick to the corner by Milton. Swanson recovers there for Rogers. Her pass disrupted and taken away by Callie Alphen. Alphen to center ice. Attacking 1-on-3 as her team changes behind her. Hands it off for Semling. Tipped away from her. Bernick recovers. Bernovic into the corner and now behind. Hands it off for Semling. His shot. That misses wide. Pageant able to keep it in on the far side. Her pass deflected and back the other way come the Royals. Swanson shovels it in and gives chase. They meet in the corner, her and Lila Olson. McKenzie gets it free, gets it behind for Oswego. That one hit the ref, came out. That shot deflected and
nice save.
Wastrel able to stay with it to make the save. A couple of funny bounces that could have been very dangerous for Champlin Park Coon Rapids. Rogers trying to assert themselves the way they did the end of the first period, and they see if they can keep the home team bottled up a little bit with the long change here in the second period.
Got to move that puck.
Bernovic circles, gets it ahead for McKenzie. Semling off the boards and will catch up to it in the corner. June Semling tried to slip it around behind and ended up slipping and going down instead. Claire Lauer tried to pitchfork it out. Zahalka steps up. Had to wait for the zone to clear, and now Rogers plays it down. It was touched by Bernovic, so no icing. Bernovic for Taylor Zahalka near side. She gets to the red line, pressured there from Punchakar. Punchakar eventually relieves her of the puck, and then that pass just out of the reach of Nora Hendrickson all the way down for icing with 2:21 to go here in period number 2. Royals came out. They got the first couple shots of this period and maintained that lead in that category. But since that time, it has really been all CPCR, helped out by 2 power plays, certainly. They had 7 of their shots in this period on the power play.
Yeah, there you go.
7 of their, 8? 9 shots?
Thank goodness.
As I mentioned earlier, they want to put more shots on net, and they haven't been able to do that here in the second period, obviously.
No, good defense again by Rogers. Like I say, they're playing very good position hockey.
Good step up by Alphen, but could not stop the puck. Did disrupt the breakout. Good back check and recovery by Tessa Bowden. She leads the charge. Cuts across the front, a good shot just high and wide. Got past the blocker of Kinneberg, but could not find the corner of the net. Alphen keeps it in. Pitson skates to the circle, down low. Bowden trying to center. That's deflected behind. Bowden recovers again. Bowden in the circle on the right side. Leaves it off there for Olsen. Olsen tried to get it back to her, but another toe pick. Seen quite a few unforced falls from the Bluebirds in the second period. And that one just wasn't quite off and back on the bench.
Yeah, that's the problem with that line in the middle of the bench. You have to know where you're going off the ice at.
Yeah, Bowden with that shot, just a little bit too much on it, but you know, she's trying to get some things done in front of that net.
Yeah, because Kinneberg's been tough. She's settled
has.
in. Never good when the goalie settles in, Howie. The puck starts looking larger and larger, and it's hard to get it by her.
Good hold from Milton. Down to the final minute of this second period. And a good stick to lift Olivia Reeves as she went for the shot. Moyer sends it in deep, gives chase. The Swegan will reverse. That got past Nola Milton. First one there is Johansson. Johansson trying to walk the goal line, sends it out front. Circling is Fitzke. She lost an edge, keeps the puck. Well, bumping and shoving in the corner. A couple bodies hit the ice. No hands in the air.
No.
From the guys with orange on their sleeves.
Well, it's Rogers' name of their game today, and they're winning those battles.
O'Brien trying to step in from the blue line. Ran into a lot of traffic. Swegan retreats behind her own net. Off the near boards, out of the reach of Peterson, and Easton able to skate to the other end, miss wide just before the buzzer sounds. So better period perhaps for the home squad, at least in the way the first period finished. A little cleaner, they brought a little bit more pressure, but this is still anybody's game as we get ready for the second period. Down on the benches with Rogers head coach Emily Achterkirk is Howie Shapiro. Howie?
Thanks, Joe. Coach, you know, let's talk a little bit about the first two periods. I know some of the things that you said, that goaltending must be solid and your D must play well in front of them. I thought they really have so far. You gave up that shorthanded goal, which is the difference in this game now. You talk a little bit about the presence that you've been able to do in the Bluebirds end and what you thought in those first two periods.
Yeah, I think like you said, our defense and our goaltending are really great today. I have a ton of confidence in them, and they've been working really hard to get to this point. Really proud of them, actually. And even on that PK, just the amount of block shots that our defense had is really something I'm very proud of them about, and it's a big part of why we're in this game still. As far as the offensive end goes, we haven't had a ton of opportunity to work on it in games yet because we've had some really tough games, and I think the girls are doing a really good job of getting in the zone and going to work and getting those shots on net, and now we need to just find those rebounds.
A little disappointing, just a couple of shots on goal in that second period. What's your message to the girls going in between second and third?
Yeah, I think the not so many shots is attributed to the penalty kills. But yeah, I think entering this third period with a lot of confidence and, you know, really pushing the pace of the offensive zone and, you know, putting their D on their heels and getting shots on net. We want shots on net. So, yeah.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the third. We're going to be right back after this to break down that second period. Back at the Coon Rapids Ice Center. Same score as it was before, 2-1
after the second period. No scoring in that middle frame, but we saw some good efforts at both ends. We saw some good opportunities at both ends, but as Howie talked to Coach Ochterkirk about, only a couple shots on goal for the visitors. On the home side, good pressure, but need to get that payoff, get that separator, get a little breathing room.
Yeah, they got to get a little more traffic in front of Kinneberg because she's seeing the puck very well right now. She makes a nice first save. She steers in the rebound to the corner. If she sees it, I think she's going to stop it the rest of the game.
Yeah, Coach Ochterkirk and I were chatting off the ice as we were walking away. He says, you know, we always play this team tough. And says, now all we have to do is score. And I said, yeah, it's obviously easier said than done. And she goes, yeah, just get a little more presence, get a little more shots on net, and hopefully that comes.
Well, and Champlin Park Coon Rapids, as we talked about earlier, has won the last 5 meetings between these two teams, including a section quarterfinal game in each of the last 2 years that has ended the Royals season. But all time, the Royals hold the 9-6-1 edge in the series between these two teams. So Coon Rapids won the last 5. Rogers won the 6 before that. And again, 9-6-1 all time against Champlin Park Coon Rapids. But the Bluebirds hold the 3-2 edge in the game that matters most, which is that section contest. And, you know, these two teams could see one another again come playoff time.
Yeah, well, the old days, you have to remember Rogers had Peyton Levis, you know, played at Ohio State. So they had a lot of firepower in the old days.
Well, and Champlin Park Coon Rapids has seen their fair amount, but they've seen their firepower, Howie, in that first line especially, come out here tonight.
Yeah, and that's what they're going to have to, I think, do in the third period. I think they're going to have to rely on their first line and try and get that third goal. And they would certainly love to do it before Rogers gets on the board again and kind of put more pressure on them. But as Jerry said, goaltenders are playing hot.
Yeah, and Champlin Park Coon Rapids, as we talked about, not that the Royals are an easy team to beat, but their next 3 opponents all ranked in the state's top 10, so they really want to get a victory here tonight. They've got a lead, 17 more minutes of regulation time to go. The third period starts next on CTF.
As you know, CTN's on YouTube, and we're on in a big way. We have thousands of videos online to help you stay connected to Coon Rapids on any device, at home, or on the go. And it's because of your faithful viewership that we can celebrate 10,000 subscribers to the CTN YouTube page. Thank you for your support as we continue to keep you connected.
Back at the Crick, ready to get their third period underway. Champlin Park Coon Rapids has led the whole way. Lily McKenzie, a pair of goals, the first coming just 49 seconds into the contest. She scored again shorthanded at the 12-17 mark of that first period. The Rogers cut the lead in half with a power play goal, an end-to-end rush by Swanson. Just 31 seconds later at 12:48. No scoring in the second period. Champlin Park Coon Rapids out shooting their visitors by an 8-2 margin officially on the scoreboard.
Well, if they can do that again in the third period, they have a good chance of winning the game. But Rogers is going to come out here trying to fire some pucks, as the coach told you, right, Howie?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that was their goal. I mean, that's the one thing she's been disappointed with, is not getting enough shots on net. And that's something, obviously, they'll look to do here in the third.
Well, and I would have to think that Coach Gutterman, while he liked the effort a little bit better in period number 2 and the pressure they were able to generate, a little bit more zone time. Long shot from Bernovic, blocked by Bailey right at the top of the crease. But their attempts weren't getting on net as often as they may have liked.
Right.
You know, you got to hit that 6x4 square in order to get credited with the shot on goal. And 100% of the shots you don't take don't score.
That's right.
I think the biggest key for the Bluebirds is to get it out of their own Z.
And here is McKenzie across, the shot by Bernovic, partially disrupted by Bischoff. Those two tangle and both hit the ground. Swanson ends up on the ice in the near corner. Semling out to the point, but it skips away from Zahalka and all the way back down where Wastrel will hand it off for Nola Milton.
I tell you, Bailey and Bischoff are a good defensive pair. They're tough to get around.
Out to the point, Fitzke shot through traffic, sticked away by Wastrel.
Good save by Wastrel. That was traffic.
Yep, yeah. You got to make sure you see that thing coming through.
Johansson behind, good defensive stick from June Semling. She disrupted the one-time attempt, and that'll be icing against Champlin Park Coon Rapids.
Well, the Royals have to be happy because they put that pressure on the first line of the Bluebirds there.
Yep, and they got that. They got the first shot of the period on net.
That thing flutter and hit something. And,
those are the dangerous ones.
Those are the ones that
especially when you can't see them coming through.
Right. Wastrel stuck with it.
Paginen able to win the draw. Behind the net goes Kylie Oswegan, and she will skate with it. And that is the answer if you're having trouble breaking out. Skate until they challenge you.
Yeah, no one
End to end goes Oswegan. Will shot in close, turned away by Kinneberg. Now back the other way come the Royals. That pass taken away by Oswegan again. Forces it through to Bowden. Bowden gets around a stick check from Johansson. Skates to center, slides it ahead for Paginen into the zone. Bowden plays it back into the corner and collects it there. Out of the corner, tipped off her stick. She's tripped up, but no call. This one played the length of the ice. Icing waved off. Wastrel way out in the corner will play it away from the charging Claire Lauer. Kept in at the blue line by Barnacle. Tie up along the near boards. Poked free by Oswegan. Takes a look around, now sends it across. Olsen's pass ahead for Paginen out of reach. Pitson couldn't kick it to herself. Here comes Bischoff. Gets in close and fires up over the cage.
It's a matter of time. This stays going this way, Howie.
Well, again, they're doing a good job of keeping it down in the Bluebird end. Now it's just opportunities.
Bailey's shot ends up in the far corner. Bischoff holds and sends it back down and around. Zahalka. That's still Kylie Oswegan. She'll go end to end again. Again, lifts it just over the net. It's time from the high slot. This one played all the way back down. Icing waved off. Wastrel leaves it there for Peterson. Stops up, avoids some pressure. Gets support from Oswegan. This is Zahalka shoveling it along for Easton on the backhand, and now Olivia Reed at center. Into the middle, Peterson bumped off it. Puck collected by Hendrickson and turned back up ice for Rogers Royals. Back in comes Alphin, swept away by Bailey. Into the corner, Bailey gets it ahead for O'Brien. Disrupted by Bernovic, but can't pry it free. Back out at her own line is Alphin. No, that was Reed, because that is Alphin. A lot of twos on the ice.
Yeah,
twos and nines.
Two.
Bernovic collects that one out of the skates. A tip, a goal, a hat trick for Lily McKenzie.
Wow, how big was that goal? Gave up the rebound. That's the thing. The rebound is, Claire Kinneberg has been playing so well. Yep. And you give up that rebound.
Red likes it.
And the best player on the ice maybe for the Bluebirds pokes it home.
That's exactly it.
Huge goal.
Yep. They had to get a rebound on Kinneberg eventually, and there it was.
Well, and I'm not sure that it really was a rebound. It was deflected by June Semling, tipped back to the near side. I'm not sure it ever got through to. Semling just tipped it over,
How about
and
that?
McKenzie buried
Looked like
it.
a rebound to me at first.
Traffic.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Good call, Joe.
Well, that's why he's here. Keep us honest.
Well, I don't know about honest.
That was good touch passing from June Semling. she was just trying to change the direction and maybe get it on net, but she knew also that Mackenzie was over there, and Lily saw a wide open cage and she put it home. Those are our goals, 4, 5, and 6 on the season. Now 10 points in her senior campaign, and that one just left there for her. She skates in, drops it off. Semling fires over the net, tried to play it off the end boards, but fanned on the shot attempt. Milton tried to hand it off, thought Semling was right there, and she had tipped down lower, but a good back check for Semling kept Struck from causing any trouble.
Yeah, got to put that puck back down low.
Swanson trying to work through a lot of red jerseys. Recollected by Eswegan. She will skate to center, fighting off a hook attempt. Gets into the zone and gets it deep. Bowden there to pressure in the corner against O'Brien. She'll come away with the puck. Tipped off her stick. O'Brien recovers, gets it to Johansson. Johansson ahead for Swanson at center. Swanson into the zone. Can't get a shot off. She's spun around and down. No call as it's recovered by Paginen on the go. Paginen skates into the zone. Lost the handle. Played to the line. Held by Zaholka fresh on the ice. Keeps it away from Fitzke down low. Pitson got it to Bowden, who turns and shoots off the side of the net. Bowden and Pitson pressuring in the corner. This one flipped up and out. And back to collect it is Eswegan behind her own net. Long pass ahead, missed Pitson, and ends up as an icing.
Good to see Eswegan make a pass there. She's lugged it twice, so they're getting ready for her to come one more time down for a three for all down the rink.
That third goal takes a little bit of pressure off the Bluebirds here. Still plenty of time remaining.
Quick shot from Bailey, turned away by the stick of Maddie Wastrel. Dumped in behind. Champlin Park gets numbers low. That pass deflected. Ended up right on the stick of Artessa Fisher in the slot. Didn't get a lot on the shot, and Wastrel covers up.
Well, you can't turn it over, Jerry.
10
obviously.
minutes left. Now you want to take care of your puck in your own end. Like right that middle pass sometimes, it's got to be wide open. Can't force that one. Walk to center, tie her up.
Lauren Barnacle, a good move off the draw, gets another opportunity, a little bit better shot into the midsection of Maddie Wastrel, but yeah, able to tip it past Lily McKenzie, get around and get tried to get a quick shot off. McKenzie able to recover enough at least to disrupt that first shot attempt, but
well, you know, Barnacle can also light the lamp. She had 6 goals to go along with 15 assists a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah, they have some players that can score.
Dropped off for Brnovich. She had it poked away, but Zaholka recovers, walks in. Her shot up over the net. Comes around to Alphen at the point. Semling lets it go through. McKenzie back out. Semling through the slot. Zaholka will recover off the boards. Down low, Semling catches on her backhand, leaves for Zaholka. Down for Brnovich. Brnovich looks, Semling a one-timer, that's blocked. McKenzie fights for it. That was off the head of Kinneberg, I think, or the crossbar, one of the two. Here's Semling in close. She hit the crossbar clean.
Wow.
A metallurgy save to be certain. Alfred drops it off for McKenzie. Semling blasts, that's wide and will run out. And very close to being too many players on the ice as Milton jumped on and touched it just as Zaholka was getting off the ice. Sydney Bailey. Long pass ahead at the blue line is Johansson trying to cut back to the middle. Tipped away by Milton. Another good stick from Nola Milton. And we're going to see a penalty against CPCR, and down 2 The Royals will get an opportunity on the power play. Anna Pitson called for interference.
Yep. And again, Jerry, this is an opportunity now for the Royals.
Yeah.
Going on that power play to see what they can do. Still only a couple of shots on net here in this third period, but a good opportunity is to see the interference. Look at that. Hit the crossbar.
Ripped it off the pipe.
Yeah, again, as we talked about earlier, June's got a great shot. I had talked to Coach Gutterman before she even made it to this level, but certainly last year, and he talked about, she's got maybe one of the best shots on our team as a freshman. And just watching her progression last year, it seemed early on she was a little hesitant. She had some great goal scorers on the line with her. She felt obligated to pass the puck even in good shooting situations. Maybe gave herself the green light a little bit more as the season went on. Again, finished with 40-some points. 40 even, 15 goals, 25 assists.
Yeah.
And this year you see she's got a little bit more of a shoot first mentality, but at the same time, smart hockey player. You saw that great assist for the last goal, just a one-touch tip to Lily McKenzie, giving her a wide open cage for the hat trick.
Yeah, it's good to see her progression.
CPCR able to keep them to the outside, finally get the puck free and sweep it back out. Here's Bailey coming in, fires hard but wide. Off the boards, O'Brien will send it down deep. Centering pass deflected by Wastrel, a shot in on the backhand by Bischoff, blockered away by the keeper. Played in deep, Oswego fires it around. Bailey will get there, keep it in the zone. Barnacle pinch to the boards. McKenzie gets the puck, but a weird bounce. Got it out of the zone, but not all the way down. But she comes up with a steal, and she's going to have another good chance. Short-handed. Good recovery, though, by Sydney Bailey. Barnacle ties McKenzie up along the end boards. 25 seconds left on the Royals' power play, and this is going to be icing.
Jerry, you can see why Bailey is a good player. I mean, she's going to play at the next level. Did a really nice job of keeping Lily wide, not letting her get an opportunity to get a look at the net.
Smart player, too. She's been all over the ice. Great shot. That last shot, other than being off target, she's got some zip on it for sure.
And she's a little tired there because she's logged a lot of ice time, her and Bischoff.
Alfred shoots it into the far corner. June Semling ducked away to keep from being decapitated by her teammates' point shot. Bernovic had a hold momentarily, tipped away by Johansson. Good recovery by the Bluebirds and a relatively harmless shot from Johansson from a tough angle just after the penalty to Pitson had expired.
Yeah, you got to be careful when your last player up there stick handling and a nice poke check. Off to the races go the Royals, and unfortunately for Johansson, she couldn't get to the net.
Shot attempt off the face-off. It's skates out front. Royals regain control, now taken away, and a 3-on-1 for the Bluebirds. Their three most dangerous players, but played beautifully by Sydney Bailey. You want to talk about anticipation and good stick work. That was a great example by Royals number 5.
Have awareness. You probably don't want to make the pass right to that side right away because Bailey was there. I'd go the other way.
Yeah, get away from her, obviously.
Yep. Isolate her.
Yep.
Bluebirds collapse, come away with the puck. Here's June Semling. She's got a pretty impressive streak going, but she'd need to net a couple. Multiple goals in each of the first 3 games this season. Chance for her, and there's that shot, but misses high and wide to the far side. Hops over the stick of Paginin. Semling calmly comes over, controls the body, takes the puck, and sends it back in.
That's how you do it. All you got to do is just turn your hip and get it in the way, and then you get the puck.
Yeah, and I think the coolest thing about Semling is she's only a sophomore. I mean, you know, the fact that she's so good at this level and she's got a few more years left of her varsity career.
Yeah, she's, like I say, her game is evolving. She's doing little things like that right there. Just a little body position, stop the other team from moving the puck forward, able to get the puck down there, and then a draw in the offensive zone.
Well, and I mean, that whole top line. Lily McKenzie had
Yeah.
102 points coming into the season.
Yeah.
And Sydney Bernovic, through her freshman and sophomore years, has 71 points before this year. And right now she had 8 points coming into tonight. She's got at least one assist. I think it's just the one.
Yeah.
Semling's got 2 assists, so she's got another multi-point game.
Yeah. Lily McKenzie's had her best game that I've seen of the 2 we've done. She's played really strong tonight. And she's played strong against North Wright County as well, but today she has another gear.
Anna Pitson gets in deep, tried to drop for Paginin. That was disrupted. Recovering is a Swegan on the backhand, shovels it toward the net. Kinneberg will make the save and cover it up.
Yeah, Kinneberg, only 3 goals against, and none of those were her fault. They're all real good goals. She's made a lot of nice saves.
Yeah, she certainly has.
Well, you wonder when Rogers will pull the goaltender, Howie.
Now 4.5 minutes basically remaining. They're going to have to at some point.
Yeah, second hat trick of the season, by the way, for Lily McKenzie. Had one in the opener against Eden Prairie.
She had a great chance. Just couldn't control the puck. Could have had her 4th.
Pass out front. Semling sends it just wide. Back behind, and it slips past McKenzie. Milton down the wall to McKenzie in her skates. Got it out. Semling trying to deflect toward the net. It's disrupted. Good pressure again. And they just get the puck right back. McKenzie is shot, gets her own rebound. Backhander behind. She recovers again. Flips it up to the line. Sent just wide by Oswego.
Yeah, one of the reasons they're able to do that, Howie, is that the pair of Bailey and Bischoff have been out there a lot.
They have.
McKenzie is shot right on, and sticky pads for Kinneberg, able to cover up and get her girls a break. As you mentioned, Bailey and Kinneberg been out there a lot. And
yeah, they need a rest for sure, for a short one anyway.
Yeah.
They made their way to the bench.
Well, you know, every time the McKenzie line goes out, Coach Attenberg wants to have them out there.
Steal at center, Caitlin Easton. Back in, she's upended, but gets it in deep. Caitlin Easton, a very solid tennis season for the Cardinals.
Absolutely.
Moved up from 3rd singles to 2nd singles spot by the end of the year. I believe she's going to be one of the captains, if I'm not mistaken, next season. I think I heard that. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. Passionate behind the net. I know that
You're just making stuff up.
I know that she and Melanie Lee will most likely be 1 and 2 at singles. Zahalka able to come back, stay physical, but not take a penalty. Elfin doesn't let it get through to the net. She just gets on her horse, skates back to center, and will attack 1v4. Staying out of the stick check of Bischoff. She sends it up over the net. Back to the near corner, chopped out to center by Claire Lauer. Icing waved off. Eswegan circles in her own end. Out to Bernovic at center. To McKenzie into the zone. Out front, Semling. And a huge save by a sliding Claire Kinneberg.
Yep, Kinneberg came out. Wanted to go 5-hole maybe. And
wasn't going to have it.
Wasn't
but
happening.
Look at the pass, though. Look at the
I think
feed.
she's trying to go mid back to the far side.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Slip it over the blocker or over the pad under the glove, but Kinneberg, good position. Brnovic through center. Tipped off her stick by Bailey, recovered by Milton. Glove save, Kinneberg. Into the corner. Brnovic battling, gets support. You can see a lot more panic in the Royals when this group of forwards is on the ice for CPCR.
And then the Bluebirds just doing a great job of just maintaining possession down in the Rogers end.
Well,
not allowing that goaltender to leave the net.
That's right.
Well, true, but at the same time, just every time after there's a shot, when Rogers has the puck with that offensive line out there, they're a little bit more jittery. They want to get rid of the puck a little bit faster because they know the pressure is going to be there. Yeah. It's imminent.
Time and space. You have no time. You do get jittery.
Coach Achterkirk calling her timeout. 1:15 on the clock. Can discuss when they want to get the keeper to the box for an extra attacker. First things first, got to win the draw and get out of the zone. But you would imagine that Kinneberg will follow the Royals out of the zone on their next go.
Yeah, well, hopefully they will get the chance, but I have a feeling that McKenzie's line will be out there again, and they're hard to get through.
Well, that's the danger when you call the timeout to make sure that your top players are rested and that everybody's on the same page. You're also giving a breather to the top group for your opponent, and the top group for this Cardinals or this Bluebird squad is lethal.
Yeah, they really are. They do.
I should call them the Rebels. Just a handful of times.
Rebels,
just
the Cardinals,
to even it
the
up.
Bluebirds. That's right. Yeah,
I love
exactly. It's a quarter though. Both you guys owe a quarter.
That's right.
But good thing we didn't do that last year. It would have been a few bucks.
They are definitely a good combination. But Sydney Bailey has had a strong contest. You can definitely see the quality in her play. Why she's, as Howie mentioned earlier, going to play at the next level.
Yep.
And as you have mentioned, she's been on the ice a lot.
Yes.
Logging a lot of ice time.
Oop, there they go.
Royals able to win it. Bischoff skates to center.
There goes the goaltender.
Gets it down deep. Kinneberg is off. Extra attacker is on. It is Swanson. Tied up in the near corner as we're under a minute remaining. Comes free. The shot turned away by Wastrel.
That was dangerous.
Yeah, that was a rebound.
But as you had pointed out earlier for the Cardinals, there was no traffic there this time for the Royals. That one played through center off a Royals player, so no icing. Brnovic pressures, played around. McKenzie played it to the front. Rogers got a piece of it and sends it all the way down. Oh, I didn't see the stick lodged in the Zamboni door.
Yeah.
Ooh, don't turn it over to Sydney Bailey at the blue line. Fortunately, no traffic in front and a relatively easy save for Wastrel into the corner, controlling her rebounds well. And watching as we get under 10 seconds remaining, Alphen more than happy along with McKenzie to try and eat the rest of the clock. Bailey fans on the shot attempt. Brnovic sweeps it down ice. The horn sounds. And the Bluebirds have improved to 3-1 on the season with a 3-1 win.
Yeah, nice win, Jerry, for the Bluebirds. And, they kind of staved off what the Royals were trying to get done and a lot of the pressure, in their end. I thought this third period they did a really nice job of controlling it down in the Royals' end and really taking them out of what they wanted to do to get back into this one.
Yeah, the Royals did try to almost catch up in shots. They got up to 19, so they had a good period. They got more shots, but not a lot of them were dangerous. There were some wide shots and a couple rebounds, and nobody in the right spot to tuck them home. So Bluebirds get the job done.
They did.
And the Bluebirds again, outside of that first period, which Coach Gutterman said probably the worst period they've played so far. Still early, obviously, but you're going to have those off periods and even off games. But they responded well, played a little bit stronger in the second. And really, they were flying in the third.
Yeah, they played a good third period. Like I say, just kept putting the puck in, kept controlling the puck and just didn't allow Rogers to really get any rhythm going in the offensive zone.
Well, Joe, as you mentioned, the fact that they really wanted to get this win because the next 3 ones are so tough.
So tough.
Yeah, so to go in at your next game against Centennial, I believe, was it Centennial?
Centennial,
yeah.
yep.
Yeah,
On Saturday.
Spring Lake Park, yep, on Saturday at 3-1. Better off than going in at 2-2.
Yeah, Centennial Spring Lake Park right now ranked number 6. Then they are taking on the number 4 Benilde St. Margaret and number 10 Maple Grove next week. And of course, Maple Grove also the defending section champion.
Yep.
And where their former coach is behind.
Always
the
fun.
bench.
Always fun.
That's true. And then I think a week or 2 later, they get number 1 War Road of Class A.
Out of Class A, yeah. Yeah, there is definitely not an easy slot on the schedule for CPCR as they go through the season, and we are excited for the rest of our schedule. We can see the boys hockey team, the new SLPCR co-op for the boys squad. They will take on St. Michael Albertville next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. They open their season actually on Saturday this week. And then we will see the girls as they take on Maple Grove, and that'll be a big one against Coach Jim Coltis and his state tournament
Absolutely,
squad.
that would be a fun one. And we did see, they did show the girls basketball, but I believe QCTV is doing that one. We will not. If we're there, we're there. We'd love to see them, but I don't think we have the opportunity for that one.
But that is going to do it for this edition of CTN Sports. Again, the final score: Champlin Park, Coon Rapids 3, Rogers 1. We want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro and Jerry Grant, I'm Joe Young, saying goodbye.